is Dr. Kalpana Ranadive. She is a prominent speaker, trainer, and Vedic dentist and Ayurveda doctor. Dr. Kalpana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I just needed to unmute myself.
Yes. Yes. Welcome. Okay. Welcome to our program.
Thank you. Thank you. I was listening to your the beautiful song. It was really, really soothing while I was just going through my presentation on the background. It was really good. So awesome job. Okay. So do you want me to share my screen? Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Okay, can you see it? Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone for taking the Sunday off to actually listen to me. My topic today is actually going to be, I'm a dentist by my background, but I'm also an integrative practitioner. So I see the connections between the mouth and the body, and an integrative way of looking at things. So today I thought, like, let's say, how do I connect the dots between the mouth, and is there a mystical significance behind what we take it for granted all the time? So let me show you. So let's begin. So a question to you all. Imagine a world with no mouth. And if one thing that COVID has taught us is by just keeping the mask on, we are able to appreciate our mouth so much more because we cannot see other people's expressions. Even there is issues with breathing. As healthcare professionals, we are trained to do this, but COVID really brought the appreciation of mouth and the nose and the whole facial structure, the lower half of our face, where our mouth is. And so thankfully, though, there is no child or actually any living being in this world ever born without a mouth. That's the reality, and that's a fact. To the point, in a human being, within the first 2 weeks, if the mouth is not developed, the woman actually gets her regular period, and she never even realizes that she was pregnant, because that's how the nature is set, that every living being has to have a mouth and an excretion system. So the whole digestive system has to be there. Otherwise, that being does not come into existence. So what is really the purpose of mouth? Since the mouth exists in every single living being on this planet, most of the animal world, of course, they're using the mouth for consumption of food. But the human beings, of course, have local structures, yes, the tongue, the teeth, and the internal structure. But there is a lot more behind inside the mouth that we do as human beings. And once we start looking at mouth beyond just it being a mouth per se, then you can start appreciating that it's actually a portal that connects the inner world with the outer world. And it's not just about what we are doing it on the external part, from eating and talking and speaking and smiling, but there's a whole lot that goes on the inside. And so the question becomes next is, what do we do more of? Do we keep our mouth open by eating and talking and speaking, or do we actually keep it closed? And that's where the body-mind wellness comes in, because there's a lot more we do by keeping a mouth closed. And if you really look at our mouth, it's a very well-guarded voluntary portal. And so from outside in, since it's a dual version, what we're doing is we are intaking food, water, air. There is touch sensations within the mouth, but there's also the biggest job that the mouth and the is doing is like its consumption of food, and the taste is there. And then of course there's emotions, and smile really lights up everything. But that's outside in. Now see what our mouth actually does from inside out. And this is where we really start looking at, there is expression of emotions, the mind, the ideas, everything is happening from the mouth, but it's happening from inside out. The only way we can connect our inner world with the outside world is through the mouth. So the mouth has a lot more inner world significance than what we focus on eating and chewing and smiling. And of course, locally, from a body level point of view, there is a biofeedback. The body, through the mouth, will give signals that, hey, I'm hungry, the mouth will start feeling the taste. You're thirsty, the mouth will feel those feelings. Let me see if I can move this, I think. Right, I'm trying to see if I can, because the pictures on the side is not letting me do it. Okay, and then the other biggest thing is, like, you can feel the taste and the pain and everything, we can feel it in the mouth. Then there is, of course, the local reflection of the oral health within the mouth, which is the mouth has the tongue, the saliva. As a dentist, it gives me a big explanation of what's going on inside the body. I can use that to connect within the body. What's going on. As you, even though you're not like a doctor, you can still use this information. Everyone has this gift where we can use the information of what's going on inside the mouth and how that can reflect within the body. So just by opening the mouth, you can see what's going on inside the body. And then, of course, the mouth is involved with the, being quiet and the stillness you can experience by stopping to talk and stopping from eating and just doing nothing. You can experience the stillness, you can experience the prana, you can experience the chi, the life force. With every breath, you can experience a whole vastness within the mouth. And then, of course, the mouth is the biggest backup system for your breath. Like if your nose is ever blocked, without the mouth, you would not survive. So the mouth has a very, very important role in keeping you alive, not just from eating and talking, but really it is the biggest primary role is to keep you alive by keeping you breathing. And the bigger thing is, yes, there's an outside in and there's an inside out, but there's a center. That's where the peace, the silence, and the balance really happens. And that's where the mystical part of the mouth really comes into the picture. There is a division, of course. And so the question becomes, are we to focus on the inside out, outside in? Or are we supposed to really focus on the central point, the portion that joins the external with the internal? And that's where the whole mystical magic really happens within the mouth. This is where we come into a Sanskrit word called samatvam. It's pronounced as samatvam. And what it really means is the balance within you. If you look online, samatvam is explained as equanimity. But if you break it down, what it is really the sum means equal. The English word sum comes from this root word called sama in Sanskrit, and atvam means within you. Now, what the mouth actually lets us appreciate and acknowledges is that it lets us appreciate the divide within the body. There is an outside in that comes in, but there's a lot more that goes from inside out. And we are able to communicate what's really happening within our mind, our life per se, by our family members, to anybody. Like the fact that I'm able to even talk to you and what's going on inside my mind is only happening because of the mind. The wonderful performance that we heard before, it was all happening from the mouth. And that's an important portal. That is why no human being, no living being is ever born without it. But human beings have that additional blessing in itself. Is unlike the animal, yes, they can talk, but we can really create a lot of things. Our creativity, our internal world can be expressed through the mouth. And then, of course, the hands and the body is a supporting system. But by just simply paying attention to what our mouth does, we don't take it for granted. And now we can start being quiet and then start appreciating what really goes inside it. And so it's all about paying attention to the balance within and without you by just paying attention to what's happening inside the mouth. And this is where we can start paying attention to like the three-dimensional mouth existence at a local level, the body level. Almost all healthcare practitioners would use this to diagnose your x-rays, to diagnose what's going on inside the body. As a dentist, of course, I'm looking at your balance within you at a physical level in 3 dimensions. There's like a there's a central divide, there's a up and down divide, and then of course there's like a vertical sagittal divide. Now, using this, how do I use this into reality, into the practical life? Is, of course, just by knowing that there's an imbalance, you can see over here, this person, by looking at her, you would miss that line. But once we take the x-rays, we can really actually start seeing that her whole right side is shortened. And then that affects the teeth, that affects the bite, that affects the smile. Now, the point I'm trying to make is it never is limited only to the mouth. The imbalance can now start shifting into the whole body. The mouth is connected to the body is connected to the outside world, the outside world is connected to the inside world. So there's like a whole, if you defocus in that from a microscopic view that, okay, we're focusing on the mouth, then focusing on the body, but you defocus, your body exists within the macrocosm. And within that macrocosm, within the in the body, there is a microcosm. So there's that always a bigger, wider connection. And what the take-home message over here is like, yes, there is a divide, but the peace really comes in by focusing in the middle of that divide, in the middle of that point. And so I'll give you simple solutions for how do you balance the body. Okay, so now that we've appreciated that the body has a divide, there's an outside in and there's an inside out component. So that's from a mouth point of view. There's a vertical divide, there's a left and right, and there's like up and down. So there's different ways. This is all great theoretically, but let's see how we can make it practically what are the practical solutions of balancing? So whenever you're looking at yourself inside the mirror by using the mouth, you can actually notice your posture. You can see whether your body is balanced on both sides, because anytime there's an imbalance, that's where disease happens. That's why the balance becomes important. The mouth and the face is a very easy place for you to look in the mirror and start saying that, okay, is there an imbalance? If you're having pain on one side of the body versus the other side of the body, then there's an imbalance. That's where you can really start looking at your body posture, your mouth position, your teeth alignment, your face alignment, all of that. And it could be just like a subtle difference, and you can start using that to see whether there's an imbalance. Because a lot of these problems are structural at a physical level. So those can be easily corrected by just noticing where there's an imbalance. So for me personally, since I'm working constantly with my right hand, I'm looking at the patients by turning from the right side in. I have like the right shoulder. If somebody looks at me, nobody will be able to detect it, but the right shoulder is slightly off and a little bit front. So by paying attention to that tiny little bit of a divide, now I can start paying attention to why I have a little bit achiness. It doesn't have to be sharp pain, but you can start using this information as to like, where is the imbalance? Straighten out your shoulder, get your back in position, sit on the ground. By doing yoga, more than aerobic exercises, by doing yoga, you really start focusing on the balance of the body. And while you're doing the yoga, you can also now start paying attention to the balance within the mind, the balance within the body, the balance within your life existence per se, how you're breathing from left side versus right side. And that's where the second solution which comes in, which is the Nadi Shuddhi. Nadi Shuddhi is an ancient and Ayurvedic pranayama technique where you balance the left and the right side. Whenever there's an imbalance, you can balance the left and the right side by simply doing alternate left and right nostril breathing. So the way you simply do it is you would take these 2 fingers and actually you want to close these 2 fingers together, and you would close up the right nostril. You inhale from the left nostril, hold, and then you turn your fingers around, exhale from the right nostril, and then hold. Inhale from the right nostril, hold, and then put your thumb again onto the right nostril, and then exhale from the left nostril. So by doing this, what you're doing is you're keeping your mouth closed, you're focusing on your breath, but you're also working on balancing the left and the right side imbalance. It's a very simple solution. You can easily start doing this on a, 21 times a day would be a great way to start. If you cannot do 21 times, do 2 times, do 5 times, whichever way. It's one of the simplest free solution that you can do on demand anytime, okay? Then the other one is the Shunya Bindu meditation. This is basically what you're doing is you're going to focus on the divide between the mouth and the external in portion and the mouth where it connects with the internal thing. The point where, imagine where the mind communicates with the mouth, where the food goes from outside in. There's a point, there's a central portion where you can actually start focusing. And the yogis have really focused on that area. We can, it's one of the most desired area for the yogis to be able to tap into the inner world. And you can focus on that. If that gets too difficult, then you can focus on the third eye. Within the third eye, the point where the eye is opening and closing is where you have to really focus, not just about the third eye. Looking at that point is the bindu, it's the central point that you can focus. And with that, then you can start looking at, okay, is there an external in, outside in, kind of by keeping your mouth closed, by not talking, by focusing on the mind, you can now start doing meditation and then start balancing your inner world and external world through meditation. And the third one, again, from a bindu point of view, from a point that divides the external and internal, there is a belly button. So those are simple location points that I've given. Of course, the UNESCO Body Mind has the Sahaj Yoga, which has a lot more detail, but I just wanted to give you the connection between a medical point of view from a practical solution, how you can connect the inner world. So I thought I was given just 20 minutes, so here I am. That's my information. If you need any more information, you can always email me, call me. I also have a YouTube video channel by the name Yogi Meets Doctor. And if you have any questions, just feel free to email me or call me. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'm here to respond.